this video, we are visiting New Orleans and we are super excited because we are gonna eat our weight in delicious Cajun food.
Yes, and today we're gonna see a lot of the city by jumping on one of the hop-on, hop-off buses, which has a larger family. We thought would be easiest for us to get around, get a good overview, find some food, and fun places to explore.
We are starting off at stop number 5, which has a nice big parking lot you can park at. It cost us $5 for 10 hours. We felt right at home because there's a bunch of RVs parked right here and you can actually pay for $50 for a 24-hour stay here. A number of these people were probably here overnight. They're doing it better than we are, so onto the bus.
Here we go. We hopped on the bus really fast so that we could catch it because it comes every half an hour.
Ready to roll, folks?
Like she says, we're ready to roll. The bus tour we took was with Sightseeing New Orleans, and they have a total of 19 stops. This is a city with lots to see, lots of history, and lots of amazing places to eat. The tour guide on the bus was full of great information about all three. And one of her best tips was that with so many famous places to eat around town, it's not worth standing in a long line anywhere. Her reasoning was that if there's a line at one place, you can just head on to the next great place. We also really appreciate hearing about the history of a city as we're driving through it, especially through some of the historic neighborhoods. We have now hopped off the bus. Originally, we thought we were going to get off right away and just get off at all the stops that we wanted to as the bus passed them. And then we were having so much fun with our tour guide that we said we're gonna stay with her one full round, and we went all the way around the bus route, learning all sorts of things about the city and seeing the sights. And now we have a good plan for everywhere we're planning to walk.
I think that's just kind of how it is. Sometimes you get great tour guides and then sometimes they're just not quite as good. So when you get on and you know you have a good one, it's probably worthwhile to stick around.
She was great. We had a lot of fun, and now we were very hungry because that was probably about an hour and a half on the bus, and we are ready to eat. So we have come here to Cafe Beignet, and we are going to try our first beignets. There are the traditional kind with the powdered sugar, which we are starting with, but you also got
King cake beignets.
So because we are during Carnival season and Mardi Gras, that is one we thought we had to try. Later on in the route, we got a tip for a different kind that is stuffed with some yummy stuff. So stay tuned because we'll show you those a little bit later as well. That's so good. Oh my goodness. It is really soft and fluffy and really sugary, and I have it all over my face, I'm sure. What's it taste like?
Donuts.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's just like a big donut. I'd say the original ones are a little less gooey than the king cake variety because of the lack of frosting. They're both fantastic. I did say we were going to eat our weight in food here. This is just us getting started.
I think personally, I like the original better. You gotta be careful though, not to like breathe out your nose as you're taking a bite, or the powdered sugar goes everywhere. But as you can see, I got the powdered sugar everywhere anyway. Today we are also exploring with our friend Michelle. We have been good friends for a long time, but she is also a fellow RVer, and she's gonna be joining us and caravanning along with us for quite a while actually. So you will see her in several of our future adventures as well. This street also has a bunch of streetcars. In fact, there's one right over here, and then there's one right here. And I don't really know if we're supposed to like walk in front of it or not, so I'm gonna wait and give it the right of way. But you can hop on these for $1.25 each direction that you're planning to take, and you have to have exact change. We thought riding them would be pretty cool, but we've got a pretty sweet deal with the hop on hop off bus. If you want to, you can ride $3 for all day long with a Jazzy Pass, and apparently multiple days as well if you want to pay for a pass. Here we go. So far, just walking up and down the streets here is really fun. Now there's music, and every which way you look, it's like, I want to explore that way, I want to explore that way, I want to keep going. I think at some point you just have to decide you've walked far enough and go through and head back. Now we're crossing from Royal over to Bourbon, and let's see if the vibe's any different already. There's quite a lot more music.
Impressions of Bourbon Street. Any and all things I've heard about it were pretty much just corroborated. And the other streets nearby, super cool. I think you can entirely skip Bourbon Street if it wasn't for just how famous it is.
Now we're gonna hop back on the bus and go to the next stop.
Our next stop was Jackson Square. This square dates all the way back to New Orleans' early days as a French colony. The statue in the middle commemorates Andrew Jackson's victory over the British at the Battle of New Orleans in 1815. It's also famous because this is where the Louisiana Purchase was signed back in 1803. At the time, this effectively doubled the size of the United States. Today, it's a beautiful park and a great place to listen to some live music.
Picked up some Cafe du Monde beignets. We just went through the to-go window and grabbed these, and we're gonna see how they compare to the ones that we had earlier. First glance, they look smaller than the other ones. Almost looks like there's nothing but powdered sugar in there, but there's one more buried in there. They're both really good. I feel like maybe I like the flavor on this one better, actually. Maybe I like this flavor and the consistency of the other one. I like the other one was bigger and fluffier. This one is chewier, but the flavor is really good. But I'm not really a fan of the consistency of the powdered sugar. It's all kind of like clumpy and but it's delicious. So you're not gonna go wrong if you get beignets from Cafe du Monde or from Cafe Beignet. They're both good. I'm gonna stuff my face.
So funny story. It seems like everything downtown closed at 4 o'clock, so...
At least in the French market, there were plenty of restaurants elsewhere around the area that were still open, but the French market and the couple of places that we had gotten recommendations for were all shutting down, and then one of the last buses was coming, and we knew we needed to hop on that to make it back to our truck. So we basically had sweets all day long. We had those beignets, and we did not really have substantial food. So now Michelle did a DoorDash for all of us, and we are going to chow down on some yummy po' boys, and I think we got some gumbo and things like that we're really going to enjoy, because today was really fun. We really learned a lot. We had a lot of fun, but we're very hungry by the end.
And very tired. It was so much to do in a day. We had a fantastic time, and there's more to come.
To make up for missing out on food from the French market, we decided to swing by and pick up lunch to go from there and have a picnic in New Orleans City Park. There's even another Café du Monde location here with more yummy beignets.
From the Market Cafe, we got an order of jambalaya, a gator sausage po' boy, and a muffaletta, all of which were really good. We finished it off with praline stuffed beignets for dessert. My parents even came into town to join us for a few days.
Next, we went to check out Storyland, which is best described as a nursery rhyme themed playground. Storyland was fun, but we should also mention some other neat places in the area. We actually spent 10 days in New Orleans, and if you have time when visiting, there are a number of National Park Service areas. The Barataria Preserve is a wetlands nature park with a boardwalk, and it's a really great place to see alligators. Though it goes without saying, definitely keep your distance. This preserve is part of Jean Lafitte National Historic Park, which includes a number of other sites in and around New Orleans as well, and if you're a history buff, you'll really want to check it out.
When you're finished exploring one of the other attractions in the area, make sure you swing by Faubourg Brewing Company. We noticed their sign from a ways off while driving by on the interstate, and we're really glad we decided to stop by. They have a full kitchen, and the food and beer are amazing. They also have a massive yard with all sorts of games, and you can easily kill an entire afternoon and evening here. It's also worth noting that they're a part of Harvest Host, so if you're an RVer like us, this would make for a really great stay on your way through New Orleans. We stayed at Bayou Segnet State Park. The best part about this park is the floating cabin rentals. The cabins are nice, the scenery is great, and you can enjoy it from a screened-in patio. The campsites are also pretty decent, and we would definitely stay here again as the location is really good for exploring New Orleans.
Last but not least, we went on a tour with Honey Island Swamp Tours. It's a little ways north of New Orleans, but this one specifically was recommended by a friend as many of the other tours in the area can't take children under the age of 5. Our experience was a bit out of the norm. The water level was high because of some recent rains, and while we did pick a relatively warm day, it was still wintertime and we probably didn't see quite as much wildlife as you might at other times of the year, though we still got to see a little bit of everything. On our particular day, we saw more raccoons than anything else. All in all, we had a great time and could easily recommend Honey Island Swamp Tours, especially if you have young kids like us.
That was super fun. We all had an absolute blast. I'm sure we would have seen more wildlife if it had been a little bit warmer. I mean, it is January when we're filming this after all, but this was definitely a very cool excursion.
It was definitely on our bucket list for the area, for Louisiana. So we had a ton of fun, and in general, New Orleans was just so much fun. So we hope you enjoyed this adventure as much as we did, and that you get a chance to come for yourself someday. Until then, we'll see you on the next adventure.
Bye.